All right, so yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about Queen's Gambit. I still haven't watched it yet, but Nishan, you had some thoughts on
I
episode
haven't,
one.
yeah, I haven't seen the entire thing. So
What did you think
I would
about episode one?
episode one was okay. I found certain things unrealistic chess wise. I think it's kind of stretched over the limit
Like what?
because remember I told you about this guy Rev that we were talking about, and he was roughly around 1300 to 1400 rated player. And in the episode one, this what do you call the custodian, the janitor is the one who actually teaches her chess, gets her started and stuff. And he knows openings so well, and I mean he knows so many different variations of Sicilian eleven fish or this and that, and he's just naming out things. Now I would assume someone who knows that amount of chess would be playing a lot better than it's portrayed over there.
Mm.
That's my thoughts. And like looking at, like, I have been playing with people, I have had access to people who, most people would first start playing chess, they get good at it, then they worry about the chess theory in terms of openings and stuff like that. I'm not sure what's the case today, like in 2020, because I have, like, I had stopped playing chess in 2004. But maybe I'm thinking that it's still the same thing, that people just get into chess without looking at the chess theory, in terms of openings and so on and so forth, the pawn structure. They just first play the game, get slightly better at it, then maybe start reading books on chess, because that's when you start learning about all these openings, the names of them, the slight variations, and the move order and all those things.
But you're
What do you,
discounting Beth Harmon's innate genius. You're not
I'm
taking
not
it.
discounting it. I'm comparing that to the chess geniuses that we've had in the history of chess, the actual chess genius, Paul Morphy, Magnus Carlsen, Sammy Reshevsky. These people were playing chess. Now, in this Queen's Gambit, she learns at 8, at the age of 8, and
Kind of a late
eventually,
start. Kind of a late start, actually.
not, matlab, yeah. If you look at Sammy Reshevsky, was a child prodigy and who learned the game of chess at the age of 4. Anatoly Karpov, another grandmaster and world
Uh,
champion, also learned at
Kasparov
4.
too. Kasparov too, right? I thought he
Yeah,
started at four.
Kasparov
Kasparov
somewhere
started at
around
four.
5-6, slightly
Yeah.
later than Karpov. Yeah, but 5-6 is still, 8 is not bad. I mean, it's still not it's not as bad as like 12 and 13, because we
Are
have grandmasters now at 12.
are you a Star Wars fan?
Yeah,
So like
why?
episode one of Star Wars, they were trying to figure out whether or not Anakin Skywalker was too old to join to become a Jedi because he was like
Yeah.
9 or whatever. It's like, oh, he's far too old, far too
The
old. He's
reason,
9.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, the reason they were saying that, because when you're 9, you have crystallized certain thoughts in your mind to react. When you're too young, you can be molded by your elders. Like at the age of 8, 9, you have your own thoughts. You can, most people at 9 are kind of rebellious, like mom, or like your dad says something and like, no, why do you want me to do this, why do you want me to do that, they start questioning. Guy at 4 or 5, they don't question. One of the reasons, and this is slightly a tangent topic, like many people think that if you become too or start too old, you may not learn it quickly. The reason is not because your brain is not equipped to handle it. The reason is you have so much prior information that may trigger some kind of rebellion in your mind. Like for instance, if like I don't know, if I'm teaching someone chess, for instance, he might question my moves if he is at the age of 10, 12, 14, 15, something like that. Especially if he's an adult who has prior experience with chess, he's not going to go back all the way to zero and start from scratch. He's going to start somewhere with all this wrong information, if you will, already in his mind, that he's not going to chuck away. What do you think?
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you on those points. I think that I was kind of being sarcastic when I said like undervaluing her innate genius because I'm not a proponent of innate genius. I think that everybody looks like a genius after they spent years mastering a certain ability. Because I think about Mozart, right? His father started teaching him the piano. Actually, I think it was when he was like 3 or 4 years old or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So by the time he's 6 and 7, and he's going around and he's composing his own. Now, no, don't get me wrong. Now he is a genius and he's great at his craft, but it is also because his entire being has been dedicated to this one particular talent set, right? So anyway, obviously, my philosophy is anybody can
yeah.
be a genius if they work hard enough at it. I haven't seen this movie yet, but it seems to me like she is going to be like one of the Polgars, right? Like Judith Polgar or something like that.
No, they actually have crafted the entire series based on Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer. So she's supposed to be a Bobby
Yeah,
Fischer.
she's the female version of Bobby Fischer with all the paranoia against the Soviets and everything that you can think of.
But does she read
Because
Soviet chess books and stuff like that?
she studies Russian just so that she can learn the chess notation of Russians and read the chess literature from Russia.
Hmm.
She also
Oh,
like
I'm gonna
there
watch
are
it.
like a couple of grandmasters over there who will actually tell her, do you know why Soviets are so good at chess? Because they stick together. So this is kind of things that they are trying to. I don't want to say like they're poisoning her minds, but she's making up her own mind based on that.
Hmm.
Uh, like
Yeah.
collective efforts versus individualistic efforts. So how Americans like are individuals, they want to have their own thing, and whereas Soviets were like community kind of stuff, and they were helping each other out during adjournments back then, and so on and so forth. So this is like fed in a mind and a step by step process. But even the first episode in the first thing, she's for some reason it's like this guy is losing too early. Like someone who is rated 1400 is not gonna lose to a newcomer in such a fashion. It's like, oh, she just forked his rook and stuff. Like, like you can see that one move behind, like just one
Hmm.
move ahead of it. You can obviously see that she can do that.
So are you talking about that
This
position?
comes to me as surprise that
Because I've seen the position, even though I haven't seen the TV show yet. Is that the position where the guy had a knight and three pawns? Oh, yeah. It was a rook knight
no,
versus
that
rook.
comes later.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
that,
later.
that
Okay,
comes
okay,
later.
that
No,
was
that
later.
comes later. That comes when she's playing against top notch players,
Oh, okay, okay. Because she was
and
real.
they have
Because that would have been now if she had learned how to do that within 3 months. That's really because even me, like, it would be hard for me to like find that position like right away. I mean, I suppose if it was like a classical time, and I could like study the position or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe I could find it.
But
Who knows?
yeah, but the point is
Probably.
that I mean, yeah, she develops a talent. That's fine. I have seen chess prodigies, like we have heard about their stories and stuff like. But no one goes as far. And she loses to world champion, and she's upset. She's 16 years old. She's not even a grandmaster. Okay, she's not even a master yet. She loses to the world champion in some
And
tournament,
she's
and
crushed.
she's like, huh. I mean, like, you are disappointed that you lost your grandmaster or the world champion.
Right, right.
And it's like, come on, man. Are you that unrealistic in your ambitions that you think that just, you step out and then that's it? You started beating grandmasters left, right, and center and just, going against the world champion. Like,
Well,
I don't know.
the general public tends to think of chess as being like a barometer of intelligence, like an IQ test. So, like,
Yeah.
if you're really good at chess, you're really intelligent. So, the more intelligent you are, the better you should be able to do at chess. So, if you lose a game of chess, it should be like it's an indictment upon who you are as a like as a being or something, right? But I don't know. And it's just like any sport, really. I mean, if you've worked hard at it, you're gonna get good results. If you don't work hard, you're not gonna get good results. And it's not an indictment upon your being. It's an indictment on listen. You have more work to do. That's all it is, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the way it was staged is like, first of all, they have the same things that happened in Luzin Defense, that the same stereotypes, like people who are into chess. Even the reporter in that first episode, she says the same thing, first or second episode. Like genius and madness is just one, like one final away
Yeah,
from each
yeah.
other.
That is a
I'm like,
stereotype
why?
also.
yeah, and why do you have to be like that? Why do, like, every time you're saying that, you're perpetrating the same thing. Like the girls in our high school, they shun her because they think, like, you know what, like, she's not amongst us because she doesn't wear the same clothes. That's so far okay till some extent. I'm not saying, I'm not condoning that. But when she starts playing chess, the only things they are worried about, the girls are asking them, oh, did you meet someone, who you would like to trade rooks with, and so on and so forth. I was like, why? And she's like, she's considered to be naive, so like, I trade rooks with almost everyone. So like, then these girls start laughing because it's an inside joke what they mean by trading rooks, and what she actually means by it. She takes it literally,
Right, right, right.
and so on and so forth. I mean, like, first of all, chess players, I'm not saying all of them, but like, they are not all antisocial, Yes, anyone who is so passionate about one thing, whether it's mathematics, economics, chess, arts, for instance, they will be obsessed with it. That's the only way you get good at it, like, up to that level. I'm not saying good in the sense, you're the high school chess champion. That's not even, that's nothing. When you start becoming state champion at a very young age, state champion, not in the age category, I'm saying state overall champion, let's say at the age of 10, that means you're dedicating your life to it. Or if you're a national champion, by the age of 15,
Well,
you're
that
doing something.
stereotype. What you're bringing up right there is that like
Yeah.
human beings should be a well-rounded person, or else they're going to be missing out on something that's going to make them
I don't
sociable and amiable and
no,
stuff
I
like
don't
that.
think that. See, I don't make those things statements like they have to be well balanced. I'm just saying it's okay not to be well balanced, because if you're well balanced, that means you're not great at anything.
But
You
the stereotype exists. It has been perpetuated throughout generations. Like so much so that like if you go to any college campus, like of course the curriculum is set out in such a way to make the students well balanced, right? Even if you
Yeah.
major in physics, like you probably have to take some sort of social science class or whatever,
I
right?
had to take freaking rock music, man.
See, you have to take
Rock
a
music
rock
has
music
nothing.
class, right?
Yeah. So, and also one of those social sciences, which I don't consider science, by the way. I don't know who is listening to this, but I don't consider that to be actual science. I mean, but the only thing I could take, so I took something which is closely related to science, and that was philosophy, and that was logic. That's the reason I took Dr. Magoo's class, because, that's the closest of the social sciences that I was like willing to take without like
Hmm.
going all the way. Like, I'm not going to take communications or I don't know, sociology or something like that. Nothing's wrong in that, but it's just so different from what we study that I had to actually study an entire book. See, if I'm studying something relevant and close enough, then I don't have to read a lot to gain like at least a B or an A grade.
Hmm.
But if I
Hmm.
take something extremely different from what my mainstream is, like something like dramatics or something like that, I have to freaking study just to get a C or B, you or
you
Greek, something like that.
remember the YouTuber I showed you? Her name is Tibbies, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she showed Einstein's grade. No, well, she showed a lot of these guys' grades, right? And this was their university grades. A lot of these grades, right? And they didn't waste time on philosophy or anything like that. They were able to just focus on physics and math, and because that's what they wanted to do, that's what they focused on. And I don't know, Einstein. Look, he wasn't perfect. He was a little bit of a weirdo, but he was not like bordering. He was not like
The,
bordering on the edge of madness because he was a genius,
yeah.
right? You know.
Yeah. You know what? There is also a reverse trend. So people think that if you're smart, extremely smart, then you have to be like somewhat eccentric, right? But it also goes the other way around. People actually start thinking that if you're eccentric, you have to be very smart.
There it is. Yeah.
Something that, yeah, like if you have Asperger's syndrome, automatically people think, oh, he must be like Rain Man. He must be like really great at playing cards or stuff like counting cards and stuff like that. They actually like they make jokes about it, but that's which is not cool. But they will take, okay, let's take this guy to the casino and we'll get $1 million out of it. But this is how it is. Like
Well, and
I'm not saying,
yeah,
yeah.
and the terrible truth is that there's a lot of antisocial idiots out there, right? They're both antisocial and they're complete morons. So
Yeah, and there are a lot of like normal people, like the jocks kind of variety, who might be slightly smart or very smart. There are people like that.
hey,
So
I feel I'm like that. I still play basketball all the time, right? So I mean, I was never great at
no,
it,
not
but
not that. Like I'm just saying, like someone who is into, like, you play basketball, but you balance it, right? I don't know how what level did you play, but I'm talking people who might be in NBA, or
right,
might be
right.
at a professional level, and then also have some amount of smartness about like normal stuff
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
on the internet.
there's lots of NBA players who who have they're more than just basketball players. There's even a
Yeah,
theme.
so
There's a
so
Twitter
basically,
slogan,
if tomorrow they are
more
kicked
than a
out of the
player.
NBA squad, then they can still make it happen in their normal
Absolutely,
profession, another
absolutely.
profession, but still, yeah. And they're not gonna go hungry like, oh, what am I supposed to do now that I don't have the basketball to fall back on?
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
they
so many
think about
chess
being
players
that
actually
talented, right?
quit chess because of the lack of opportunities in chess. Actually, so many. I mean, especially in United States. Like if you go to like India, or if you go to UK, you might even get some employment based on this. Like there's a sports quota as such. So if you're a chess player of a certain level, let's say state champion, not like normal player, but like state champion, at least in the age category, if not like the overall category. But if you are winning those kind of state championships, then you're assured of some level of employment from the government.
Right.
The same way in Russia as well. Like at least Soviet Union. I don't know if that's the same case right now in Russia, but back in the days of Soviet Union before 1991, that's how it was. So
Hmm.
that if I put all my efforts into chess, the government is going to help me out in employing for the rest of my life. Even if I retire tomorrow, even if I'm no longer world champion, as long as I play chess, they will make me an officer, class 3, class 2, class 1, depending upon what level you're playing in terms of chess,
Yeah. Well,
and so on and so
It's
forth.
funny you say that because I asked the governor of Washington. I said, "Listen, I want to become a professional Counter Strike player." And if I devote all of my time and talents into this game, I want the
Yeah.
state to give me some sort of pension.
What did he say?
The security guard wasn't too happy about it. Roughed me up a little bit, but no, I mean, I'm joking. Then when the security guard tossed me out of the office. No, but it's interesting that the chess. Let's see, chess benefits from the misnomer that is sort of linked with intelligence. So if Russia has the best chess players, it says something positive about their country. So much so that the country is willing to give a pension to a guy for being great at a board game. I mean,
Yeah.
if you really just stop and think about
But
the
it's not just
ludicrousy of this, right?
yeah, why is it ludicrous?
That this so if you're the greatest Monopoly player on earth, the state should fund your living or something like that? Why?
No, Monopoly, I don't know about Monopoly, but like they do the same thing for athletics, for wrestling, and so on and so forth.
Well, but
Or at least they
do
did.
they? Well, I mean, okay, well
Yeah,
maybe Russia does. I mean, we definitely
they
don't do it in
did.
America.
I said they did. I'm not sure about the current situation
There
after
was
1991.
there was a lot of nationalism and there was a lot of nationalism involved
But
in that type of
but in
stuff.
India, for instance, in India now, India is like a democratic country. The government assures you some level for any sport.
Hmm,
If you are achieving something, but you have to achieve it before you get something.
right.
You can't ask them for help. So this is the problem with India is like at grassroots level, no one gets access to like in US you have wrestling squads in high school. None of that happens in India. So you go to a wrestling pit, like a mud pit, you learn it, and if you get good, and if you score something like, if you're in age category, if you're an adult, like, you get the overall category. If you win something, then and only then the government will say, okay, fine, we'll pay stuff for you, we'll sponsor you.
Yeah, well, that's that it's awesome that those countries allow it. Although I am a little spoiled since I lived in America. Like if you wanted to be a track and field star, you had so many resources available to you if you're talented.
Yeah,
You have so
yeah,
so
that
so
that
many
happens in
resources available.
India, like, especially in wrestling, that happens in US. I've seen like so many. Iowa State, Iowa State has a great wrestling tradition. Penn State as well. um, so the entire state of Iowa, like, promotes wrestling like no other. Obviously, Penn State has, like, Penn State University has a very good wrestling team. The way they promote it is so different. Like, I was amazed the way they were promoting it, as opposed to someone like, I don't know, for some other country. But
Oh,
Russia does the same thing. Russia's like that as well.
okay, let's get back
Mm,
to
yes,
Queen's Gambit
that's
for a
good.
second.
Queen's
So,
Gambit,
so
yeah,
this guy knew all of these esoteric lines in the Sicilian.
yeah.
Uh, that is a hallmark of when chess is used in movies, whether it's not it's like Sherlock Holmes or whatever movie you find chess used.
Uh-huh.
The characters will show off their knowledge about chess by just naming an opening or even naming something that it doesn't even make sense, right? It's not even an opening. It'll be like some sort of, oh, here that is called the Bernoulli game. Like they'll just make up something, right? Because I think that's a part of the lore of chess. Because chess players know the names for certain openings and lines,
Opening.
and it seems like that gives you some innate, like, oh wow, he's such a genius because he can remember the names of openings. Right? It comes up over and
but
over again
but
in
but
movies.
you would think that this is like, only in old people, like youngsters as well. If you notice in chess, many people are attracted towards study of openings, so much so that after watching this Queen's Gambit, one of my friends, she just came up to me, can you teach me all the openings? I was
All
like,
the
first of all,
openings.
I don't know any openings, forget all of them. I don't even know a single one of them. Knowing the name doesn't mean I know the opening. That's the difference between the two. I may know the name, but I don't understand the opening as such. And I'm rated over 2,200. So that's the case. This is something that people should understand. So I told her, like, this best place for you to actually get access to openings is get a book on every opening that you can think of. And today you can just, you
Just
can get an
YouTube.
ebook. You don't need to
What?
buy.
Yeah, you can literally just hop on YouTube. But now, when I was in
Ah,
high school, I had a book that was about this thick, and it was all chess openings and all the lines. And in order for me
which
to
one?
visualize, oh, what was MCL, right? Is that what it was called?
Okay, okay. Modern chess openings. Yes,
It was,
yes,
it
yes.
was about yay big, and I used to have
You
to.
still have it?
Oh no, 20 years ago or whatever, right? But what I would have to do is I would have to like manually move I'd set up a board and I'd manually
Uh-huh.
move. Man, it's like so time consuming. Like now you could just hop on a chess computer. The chess
Well, now
computer,
you have chess software as well,
yeah,
which
the
will help you out
software can
greatly.
just, oh, it's so easy, it's a breeze. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have it anymore, but I would still love that. There's this in, like, I don't know. It's just a different allure of having chess pieces, moving them, and
That's true.
visualizing them, and so
Visualizing
on.
it through moving it.
Yeah, I don't have a wooden set. I never had one, but I have, like, it's like it's like buying a new book. The smell of the new
The,
book
the
is
smell
just
of
different.
the tournament board when you hold it in
Yeah, the wooden
the
thing,
weighted pieces. I like the weighted
the weighted
pieces. Oh, it feels
pieces, the
so good.
wooden board, and, like, I don't know. This It looks nice. Remember the chess set I don't think you should. You probably have it by now. Remember the glass pieces that I gave you
Hmm.
as a
I
gift?
remember. I remember. Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, most people would say, like, obviously it's mostly for, like, it's not for playing purpose. It's made of glass,
No, it's just
obviously.
for because it's hard to. Oh, Yeah, I used it for playing a
You
few
could
times.
play it, yeah, you could play it,
But
yes,
it's hard to
but
see
like
with the colors with dark and white and some
yeah, and then
black.
you always are afraid of dropping a piece here and there, and causing some sort of damage to it. Because
So look, with the Queen's Gambit, is this so you've seen one episode? How many episodes have you seen of this TV show?
I've seen 3 episodes so
Okay,
far.
now is it worth it? Like, should I actually hop on Netflix and watch this stuff, or is it good? Is it good? But despite it not being very realistic,
For a hardcore chess player, you're not finding something different in it.
is it
It's the
inter?
same stereotypes, same thing. It's just a gender reversal role. Like
Hmm.
instead of Bobby Fischer being a guy, this is Bobby Fischer being a girl. Of course, the certain idiosyncrasies. I mean, do you know that tranquilizers? I didn't know that. Some of the things are really fascinating. Back in the day, they used to give tranquilizers to kids in orphanage.
Why?
God knows why, but they used to do that.
To put them to
A
sleep?
tranquilizer every day. Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
Every
Yeah.
day, every night, whatever. And they will be like, and then suddenly the state said no more tranquilizers for kids. So now all the kids have withdrawal symptoms. So
Ooh.
this Beth Harmon goes and grabs like entire jar, eats it with a freaking fistful of tranquilizer tablets, capsules. Not one,
Jeez.
two, three, not a bottle,
Jeez.
fistful. And after that, she's perfectly okay. Like she falls down and she gets up and she's okay. I'm like, come on, you would die after that. If I had like sleeping pills, this many, like 5 or 6 of
and
them,
and after that she became a chess genius. Like the next day,
definitely.
like Spider-Man gets bit by the radioactive spider.
No, no,
Beth
no, no,
Harmon,
no.
all she does is like eat all the tranquilizers
Yeah,
and
but that's what people might think. All I
Bobby
need is
Fischer.
freaking addiction. All I need is slight craziness, slight addiction to drugs and alcohol, and like her mom, her actual mother in that, who dies because of which she's sent to the orphanage. She's also an alcoholic and she loves to be alone and everything. She's like antisocial. So I don't like this part when they are making sure that everyone looks at chess players at odd and unusual people.
Well, you
Oh,
know
they are.
what? That same sort of thing happens with the Sherlock Holmes character, where Sherlock Holmes is eccentric, antisocial. He's addicted to cocaine and all this other stuff, right? Because like that's the stereotype. If you are have a high intellect, you have to be crazy in some way. You have to be defective in some way.
I can understand addiction to cocaine because cocaine makes you alert. But why would a chess player have tranquilizers
Well,
to
think about it this
function
way.
properly?
Think about it, like, would you say that this actress is beautiful? This Beth Harmon
No,
character? Ah,
no.
okay, I would say that she is right. So,
I would say she's okay and she's not bad looking,
well,
but I wouldn't
she's
consider her to
definitely
be
not
like
ugly. Okay. Let's
I
just
don't
say
know how
that.
you define ugly, but
Okay,
okay.
let's say that she's beautiful. B, she's intelligent. You know, she's
Okay.
successful and everything. Like, if God made such a woman, right? I mean, everyone would hate her because, like, she has it
Why
all.
would someone hate her? If the girl is beautiful, people will love her.
Too beautiful, too smart, too intelligent, too
See, oh, first of
successful,
all,
too
there are many
talented,
girls in a high school which are much better looking than her.
and people
Much better.
and girls hate those type of girls. Girls get jealous all the time. So what I'm saying is that, but
Why would a beautiful girl be jealous of her?
well, now think about every single character that every superhero, right? Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, Batman
What about
is
Batman?
a billionaire, handsome,
Okay.
strong. He wins every fight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
You do realize it's a fictional story, so we
No,
don't know
no, well,
really.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So all these characters have something similar. Like if you're going to write a
Some
three-dimensional
psychological flaw.
character, you have to have some sort of flaw, or they're just like they're too boring. Like no one would care about like a perfect
I
character.
think this is the reason why they have so many flaws in her. Because people would be like, oh, so she's smart and good looking. If she were good looking, I don't think she's good looking. She's okay. She's an average, I would say. But if you think she's beautiful, go at it.
Okay.
But other girls in that movie which are much better looking than her. And but if it's like a traditional, normal, peppy-looking girl, and she's beautiful, she's smart, and she has guys following her all the time, it becomes too mundane for a movie. Actually,
Right,
people would not be come on, man, she has no flaw,
right.
seriously. As if someone who has one talent, like one thing great, she should have something bad to
To
balance it out.
balance it, yeah. Like like a video game character where like you have to have like have you ever set up those characters where you have a set allotment of skill points that you can give them? So you start
Mm,
off with like 30 points, and like you can intelligence,
okay.
charisma, strength,
Yeah,
all that type
but
of
you
stuff.
can only do a 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5. You can only have these
Yeah,
three or those two.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Well, you know what? I'm gonna watch it now. Look, we've talked about it a lot, and man,
yeah.
if this really is just sort of like Bobby Fischer in reverse,
No, it's
it should
worth
be interesting.
watching for the other things, not for the chess part.
Not for the chess part. Okay.
Because the first 3 4 episodes, at least the chess part is not that great. But yes, it's I like the other aspects of it. Like if she were like something else, because her father is supposed to be a mathematician, so I thought like this might even go to the mathematics side of it, but it didn't go. And now I'm actually happy that it didn't go, because now they will be also, because I didn't want chess players and mathematicians to be given a bad name, like, oh, if he's a mathematician, he has to be crazy. Uh,
Uh,
One thing is good enough.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, other than the chess part, I like the other aspects. Like I didn't know about these orphanage giving tranquilizers to the kids. I don't, that's horrible, don't you think? The freaking guys, like, kids,
Absolutely.
small kids, like 3 or 4 or 5 kids having tranquilizers, and they're forced to take them when there's nothing wrong with them, and they're hallucinating all the time. So when they go to like, when someone adopts them, if you're young, they will adopt you. Then you will have withdrawal symptoms all the time,
Hmm.
and then the parents will think that this guy is just weird.
That is horrible. The people used to do horrible stuff 60 years ago. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
was the
I
way.
actually don't know when this stopped, but like in mental institutions where they would give electroshock therapy, I think they were still doing that in the 60s. But
I don't know. I mean, they might be, yeah.
okay, all right. So listen, let's wrap this thing up.
So
We're,
yeah, before we wrap this, the conclusion is this: it's a good watch at least once, but I wouldn't recommend it for the chess part of it. Although the chess games are actually from the games of Mikhail Tal, and they're
they're
taken
from Tall. So she's tall. Is that what happens, or
no, 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 no. She's not Tal. The games that they use later on in the later episodes when she becomes some, like,
a
grandmaster,
grandmaster?
which I
Yeah.
haven't seen yet. But I've seen the games. These games are taken directly from the games of Mikhail Tal and Nesmet Ninov,
Well, as long
because
as
he
Tall wins, I'm okay. If she's playing the opposite side and Tall loses,
no, no, no.
I'm not
She's
okay.
playing the Tal, and there is one quote in this. So this guy who is a co-champion with her, she tells her one thing. No, not co-champion. He's like a Kentucky State champion before her. He tells her something because he knows history. Like, you remind me of Paul Morphy, and she's like, really? Like, yes. He was smart, and he was this, and he was so good at chess, and he just played with his guts, and he used to beat all the European masters. Like, wow. So she's raising her herself to a certain level, and like, yeah. And at 21 he just lost it. So like, do you think I'll be like him? Like, no, do you think I'll end up like him? And he says something which is very poignant. He says, I know you are him. That means he's so much assured that she's, because he finds still a bottle of tranquilizers way after she's out of the orphanage
Wow.
with her.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch. Wait, so you haven't seen? So there's 7 episodes. How many episodes?
7 episodes. I've seen 3 of them, so I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll be
So it's
starting
probably gonna
fourth
have
episode.
some crazy unhappy ending. I hope it doesn't. But all right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give it a
You
shot.
can
Look.
predict the ending right there when she's getting addicted steadily,
Okay.
more
Look.
and more addicted.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch. How about I watch the first 2 episodes and we can review episode 2 tomorrow,
Okay.
and that'll be kind of cool. Okay, so let's wrap this up. That was
Sure.
some first impressions from Queen's Gambit from two club chess level players, and we're gonna review the entire TV series coming up sometime soon. Okay, that's it for now. You know, we should have a closer, Nishant. We should develop one. Like,
Okay.
you know,
For this
I don't
particular
know.
theme,
No,
or
no, no,
for like
no.
all?
For every episode, you know.
All right. Okay.
But
Okay.
I
We
don't
can
know
work on
yet.
that.
Like I don't know how to in any of these like videos. Like
We'll talk about it. Are you
yeah,
still recording?
I'm recording right now, and I'm gonna end it right now with like bye bye.